Welcome to the April Coffee Chat.
In this edition of Coffee Chat, it's called Q&A. We are going to answer your most pressing questions about our life, our family, frugality, anything you want to know about us. That's what we're going to answer today. But before we get started, a super big announcement. This definitely needs a drum roll. We are doing a great giveaway. This giveaway will be hosted over on our Instagram account. It's with a large company that we've talked a lot about on this channel. We cannot tell you who yet. The giveaway will begin on the 10th of May. Now, in order to win, you're going to have to enter the giveaway, and you're also going to have to be one of our followers on Instagram. And if you tell us that you've entered, we have a super sweet, fun freebie for you to thank you just for entering the contest. So what you need to do now, though, is make sure that you're already following us on Instagram. We're going to make sure that link is available in the description of this video. And just in case you know, like the fact we're getting ready to do a giveaway, no big secret. So we want you to make sure that you are sharing this with your family, your friends, your coworkers, people you go to church with, maybe even like strangers on the street. Easiest way to do that, guys, is just to share the link to this video with them. Then they can watch the video and they can find out all the information they need to know about the giveaway. We'll start promoting it over on Instagram on the 10th of May.
So this is Coffee Chat. So what are we drinking today?
All right. Today we are drinking. We're going to do a little toast here. Oh, wait. He doesn't have his glass cup.
Sorry. This is the cup I'm drinking out of today.
All right. We are drinking something that one of our viewers suggested to us on last month's Coffee Chat. She said, have you ever tried fire department coffee? And we're like, why, no, that sounds like something that we should definitely be trying. Fire department coffee is located in Rockford, Illinois.
Yeah.
Guys, we feel like it would be a super fun summer trip to drive up to Rockford and tour the coffee company headquarters if we can.
Yeah.
Tell us in the comments, do you think that would be fun for you to go with us to just sort of tour this coffee company? Listen, they're veteran owned and their mission is to help support fire departments across the United States. So we're super excited. Now, one thing we do want to mention is we couldn't decide. We were indecisive people. So we went to the website. They had a great price if you bought a 4-pack. So that's what we did. This is what we're drinking today. This is French toast flavored. Larry decided he really wanted to try.
I like dark roast coffee, so this is a dark roast.
This is for our son, James, our oldest son, and his lovely wife, Hannah. This is infused with rum. And our second son, John, and his lovely new wife, Delaney, they got back from their honeymoon, and we gifted them with some fire department coffee that was espresso. So there you go. There are the four flavors that we tried, and there was a coupon available when I was there at the website for 20% off your first order.
Nice.
Kind of helped so that we didn't really have to pay shipping and handling, because that kind of covered the cost of the shipping and handling plus a little bit off of the coffee. Fire department coffee, guys, go check it out. We're going to make sure there's a link to it in the description of the video.
By the way, it's very good coffee. What we made this morning is excellent. It has really good, strong, robust flavor.
Let's get into the Q&A, which is what y'all came here for. Ginger Pickles wants to know, being plant-based, do you grow your own garden to help on the food budget? If so, what style of gardening do you use? I used square foot gardening at the old house. At the new house, I tried, I really did. Nothing grew. We had this huge tree in the backyard, didn't work out so well. One of these days I might try again, but really right now, and I know I've mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again, I do a little bit of social media work for a local organic farmer over the summer, and he does pay me in produce. So that's part of the reason I've never had the need to grow stuff in our own backyard, because he's doing it for me and he does it a lot better than I do.
Teaching Tiny Disciples asks, would you ever consider sharing a homeschooling video, particularly homeschooling on a budget? I'll let Hope address this one.
You know, I don't think that it would be a widely watched video on the channel, unless I'm wrong. If you homeschool and you want to hear all about it, tell me. But I'm not sure we have a huge number of homeschoolers that watch, and clearly it's something we've been passionate about, because I'm entering my 25th and my final year of homeschooling next year. So we've done it, and we have done it on a budget. But Little secret, which yes, you can share this secret too. I share secrets on Coffee Chat that really aren't secrets because I tell you can tell other people. If you contact me at hope@underthemedian.com and tell me that you would love to hear some of the sessions I've done on homeschooling, I'll hook you up with a link to a page on my website that has 3 of the sessions that I have done for conferences when it comes to homeschooling. Today's hot button question came from Jamie Jackson. Thanks, Jamie. Jamie's question is, have any of your boys ever requested meat? I know y'all are vegan, and I know you all agreed to that lifestyle. I'm not sure if we all agreed to it, but Larry and I did, and enjoy it. But has there ever been a time when the boys or even Larry has wanted meat?
Well, it's real simple to answer. I used to really enjoy eating meat. I have nothing against eating meat. It tastes great. But when it really comes down to being really healthy and doing the best that we can for our future, I'm okay with not eating it. What I'm really good with is what Hope cooks. What she cooks instead of meat is wonderful, and I enjoy all of the dishes that she makes. So I have to say I really don't miss it all that much.
And have the boys ever asked for it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. But they know, like, in short order not to ask for it because I'm not going to buy it and I'm not going to cook it for them.
Here's another question that's very similar to the last one. Chrissy asks, what made you decide to go vegan rather than just vegetarian?
Well, the actual contents of cheese are milk, which may or may not be laden with hormones, and a lot, and I do mean a lot of salt. Have you ever looked at the salt content of cheese? And fat? So when you look at your overall health and why you would want to be eating it, it just doesn't, to us, seem like something you have to add to your diet. If you look at calcium, calcium is super duper easy to add on a vegan lifestyle without eating any dairy.
And I'll have to say, the movie that we watched that really got us into this lifestyle was pointing us toward the vegan direction, and that was called Forks Over Knives. If you've ever seen this movie, it's very well produced, extremely well researched, and supported by facts. 2 doctors, did a study in China on the different diets and what the results were for those people. And those that ate the vegan diet lived the longest and had the least amount of difficulty with diseases that are very common in America. That had a great impact on us.
Son Vegan wants to know, I can't figure out how much each meal costs. Got it. You speak of doing that often. Can you tell me how? Really, you have to know what you paid for your base ingredients. After you know that, it's kind of easy peasy. So I know we just paid $1.77 for a 5-pound bag of potatoes. What I will do is count the number of potatoes in the bag, divide it by what we paid, and I'll know about what each potato costs. So when I make hot stuffed baked potatoes and it uses 4 of those potatoes, I'll know the cost of the potatoes. Then I will also know the cost of the can of black beans that's going to go on top of it, and the can of chopped tomatoes that are going to also help provide something we're going to throw on top of that potato. So do you see what I'm saying? Like your base ingredients, and you know how many servings, how many meals it's going to last you, then it's pretty easy. And this whole thing of figuring out what meals cost, people can get so hung up on it, like they feel like they need to know it down to the penny or they just can't do it. I think it's a great idea. If you get in the ballpark of what a meal costs you to make, the awareness alone is worth the process of doing it and getting close enough. And so you know immediately what those low-cost meals are that you can go to when your grocery budget is stretched thin and you got 10 or 14 days to go until you get to the end of the month. That's really where it's helpful.
Unadorned in Indiana asks, any frugal tips for buying low-cost bedding, sheets, blankets, etc.? I will sometimes get them at Aldi's. And that's in the aisle of shame, she calls it. but wondered if you had some better sources. Well, right off, I can tell you that we've gotten some of these items from a local Goodwill store that happens to be a really nice Goodwill. It's in a nice area of town, and they get really good quality donations.
If you're concerned about bed bugs, guys, 120 degrees, super hot water, wash it, line dry it outside, and it should kill any of the bed bugs or larvae, is that really is your concern. Now, if you want to buy new, I'm going to tell you buy in January. White sales. We have gotten some tremendous deals on like comforters and sheets and blankets in January. Look for white sales in January and you're going to save money on things like that.
A related question, Lisa S. asks, would you please consider doing an episode on buying clothes cheaply?
Lisa, you are going to buy off season, my friend. That means that right now, when we're coming into spring, you're going to buy winter items. It means that when we're leaving summer and we're headed to fall, you're going to be buying summer items. You're never going to be buying the current season of clothing because you're looking for what you want to buy on the deep discount rack. There's actually a whole methodology of exactly what you want to look to buy in different seasons. I have a series of 3 ebooks I actually wrote on how to save 75 to 90% on gifts, how to save 75 to 90% on clothing, and how to buy in-season produce and save on what you're purchasing in the produce department. That series of 3 little ebooks, it's one of the free bonuses that you get with the Frugal Finance Planner. So I'll make sure, guys, that there's a link to the Frugal Finance Planner in the video description, and you can just click on that link and it'll show you everything that comes in the bundle as well as what the 3 ebooks contain.
Joanna Burgess asks, I'm pretty sure I have bulk cooking mastered. However, using what I cook and freezer is another. What do I do? Love your shows.
And I love this question because it makes perfect sense, right? You've gone to all the trouble to bulk cook all this stuff and you're like, it looks beautiful. It's cooling on the table. What the heck do I do with it now? One of the things I'd like to encourage you to do is just make sure that you freeze meal-sized portions. Make sure what you're putting in your freezer. Keep a list of what you're putting in your freezer so that you know you can use it up. I, as you know, am a huge proponent of topical menu planning. I do it every week. Here's where you can make the case for monthly menu planning. I think you can take whatever you just bulk cooked, take a monthly calendar and fill in where you're going to plop in all the items that you just bulk cooked. And you're going to find out, man, like half of the days of your month at least, you just took care of in like one afternoon. That's the glorious thing about bulk cooking.
Pam W. asked a very important question. I've been trying to figure out what paperwork to keep and how long to keep it. I'm old school. How long do you keep credit card statements, auto insurance statements, utility statements, bank statements, and so on? How long do you keep the paperwork that's important to you that has to do with your budget? Well, this is a pretty simple question in some ways to answer, and in other ways, it's going to depend on you and how much you feel, how secure you feel in getting rid of some of that kind of paperwork.
All right. As far as monthly bills, like the water bill and the utility bills, all that, as soon as we can see that they have logged it into their system and the bill is paid, and we know for sure that that is, shown in their system, we get rid of it. We don't keep, we used to keep it for a year or two, and we were like, why are we keeping this stuff? And like anything related to your taxes, we do keep that 7 years.
Yes. Now, let me say this. When it comes to utility payments, like your water bill, your energy bills, we pay those through our bank, which keeps a record on file on what we've paid and when we've paid it. So if there is a question, we can tell them that our credit union that we belong to actually physically paid that to them, and we can show them when we scheduled it to be paid.
What's interesting to me is this whole idea of a paper trail. As we become more and more digital, I do think that sort of the overwhelming knowledge that people say, here's what you should do, like that advice, I think it's changed.
Yeah, it has.
But I loved it when she said I'm old school, and I thought, we are not just old school, we are just old, Pam, okay? She's just old school and old at the same time.
Tammy Powell asks, my husband and I have been discussing how much physical cash we should have on hand. That is a very good question. What percentage or amount do you think is appropriate? And you'll get different amounts from different people, different experts online. I know Dave Ramsey will tell you to keep a certain amount of cash. There are people that are really involved with catastrophic things that could possibly happen. Storms could close the bank for a while and you might need some cash. cash to do some of your shopping. But if you think about it, if the power is really out at the place that you do shopping at, chances are they probably won't be able to sell you anything anyway, because they use that all the time online. They use the internet. So it all kind of depends on what it is that you want to do with the money. We figure about a month or two of worth of expenses in cash. So whatever you figure you are going to need for about a month or two, that should cover that base pretty good. If you feel more confident in saving less, that's fine. Or if you feel better at saving, say, 6 months, there are people that'll even tell you to save up a year's worth. So that's a little bit up to you and what you're comfortable with.
I know. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Because I do think this is an interesting
I think so too.
idea.
Yeah.
Tell us in the comments, like, what do you think? We think 1 to 2 months. That's what we're going to say right now. But it used to be less. Before 2020, we saved maybe 2-3 weeks worth of cash. Yeah. And I think 2020 like scarred all of us. I'm not joking. I feel like we all have, like, around the world, we have PTSD from that. I mean, it changed our thought process about a lot of things and the amount of cash that we keep on hand. I think it changed it about that too.
I'll tell you what's nice about having the cash on hand. There are some things that you have to purchase with cash only. Like if you go to an estate sale or a garage sale and you're looking at a big item, you might have the money already saved up in your savings account, so to speak, in your home to go home and grab that money and pay for it. So it does give you some money, kind of some liquid money that you can work with. And I do like having it for that purpose.
Marlene wants to know how you do both doing since your accidents. We're doing better, Marlene. Every day a little bit better. Larry is going to do a video on it and kind of do a general update on my health and his health. We're going to do that sometime in the month of May. But Larry has like exciting news.
My most exciting news last week is that they graduated me from physical therapy. I no longer have to go. I've got enough extra range and movement in the right arm. The right arm is nowhere near perfect. I play the piano for our church, and today when I sat down to play the first song, I could barely get the arm to work. It felt so stiff, but it finally loosened up. So I do struggle a little bit with it, but I'm able to do all the things that I like doing. I'm going bike riding. I've actually ridden over 700 miles on my bikes since the accident. And I do all the things around the house. I was able to mow the lawn with a mower that wasn't working right. The self-propelled part wasn't working correctly. And I was able to push it all the way through our big yard. We have a third acre of grass to mow, and it's on a hill. So I felt really good. That was a major accomplishment.
You guys, I'm laughing because the whole mower, this has been like a thing. The whole thing.
Yeah, it has.
It broke for the third time.
Same problem.
I know, the same problem. So we've had it repaired 2 or 3 times.
About 3 times.
And finally, I mean, he came in and he had it. And Larry has this great, like, I hardly ever see him frustrated or upset, certainly not screaming. And I mean, I could lose my Jesus, guys, and I could have a couple swear words come out. Never with him. And he comes in and he's grumbling. I'm like, oh my goodness, what's wrong? He's like, that stupid self-propelled function, it is broken again. He's like, forget it. I'm going to get the mower started. And I'm going to mow the front lawn because it looks horrible.
It did.
And he at first he couldn't get the mower started. I mean, and I thought, and I'm inside, I'm going, Lord Jesus, please let him get the mower started. This man really needs a win. And the next second, I know.
The rear wheel fell off. The rear wheel fell off.
And I'm like, why are you back in again? He's like, the wheel fell off.
I've never had a wheel fall off of a lawnmower in all of my years of mowing a lawn. And then I said, look, we are not going to repair this mower. It is done. It's a nice mower. It's been a nice mower, but it's done. It's served its time.
We're looking for a deal on mowers.
Yes.
That's our next thing. Lawnmowers, by the way, guys, go on sale around Father's Day. So I'm asking him to kind of make it work. He got the wheel back on. Then I was going into heavy intercession. And he was able to get the lawn mowed, and it was like, this is not going to work very long.
I can mow it a couple more times if I have to. I can do that, and I'm willing to do that. So
we're going to pray in a good mower.
yes, yeah, we need a really good, because we have zoysia grass, which is real thick. So it's got to be a powerful and a well-made mower in order to do that.
All right, the second hot button question of this video comes from Aiden100. Thank you, Aiden. You bought your house and you bought your cars with cash. Congratulations. What are your new savings goals? Aiden, that depends on which one of us you ask. Yes?
Yes, it does. Well, I like the idea. I traveled all the time with my family growing up. Every year we took a major vacation. And Mom and Dad didn't have a ton of money, but they were very good with what they did. We'd go out to Colorado or go out east or go up to Canada. We had a wonderful time, and I enjoyed it so much. I would love to do some traveling. The other thing that I would like to do is downsize this house. And I don't think we'd have to purchase a home more expensive than this one to do that, but it will cost. It always costs to move. And we're not going to do that for a long time because we want to wait till our kids are raised. So our youngest is 16, so it's going to be a while. But when that happens, I do want to downsize. And that might be 10 years from now. And that's fine. That's okay.
Another viewer wanted to know if we had a summer vacation, any trips planned, which sort of dovetails into Larry's need to travel. We are not traveling this year. We had a son get married last year, a son get married this year. Yes, we did. We helped both couples with the wedding. We helped them. We did. Yeah. And because we were able to do it, we were so excited to be able to help them have the wedding they really wanted.
Yes.
So this summer, no major trips. I anticipate a couple of like day trips, maybe a weekend trip or so.
Sure.
But next year, when our youngest graduates from high school, we are planning a big family vacation. And the nice thing is, like, all we had to do was set the budget. And my daughter-in-law, who loves to travel and loves planning vacations, is being like our travel agent for us. She's planning the whole thing. All I did was give her ideas of destinations and kind of set like parameters for like how far. None of us wants to travel super far. So it's got to be within a 3-4 hour drive at the most.
And we want to go as a complete family.
Yeah, like everybody's going.
Right. That's the whole reason why we were having our daughter-in-law plan it.
Yeah, so all 8 of us are going to go on a vacation next summer.
Should be fun. Speaking of our newly married couple, somebody wanted to know about the video that we had promised for the first couple that got married. They wanted to do a video on their frugal planning for their wedding. But they've had a lot of different things come up, and we don't think that's going to happen anytime real soon. They've had some tragedy in their family, in the wife's family. So we'll talk to them and see when they want to do that. And as soon as they're ready, we will put them on.
We were scheduled to do it, and like the week before we were scheduled, I broke my arm, so clearly that was going to happen. Yeah. And then they've had some other things. We're just giving them some time, and really they need to spend some time with her family, and we're definitely going to allow for that. Yes. But it's on their radar. We asked them, we did ask them a couple of weeks ago, and they're like, it's still on our radar. We still want to do it. It's just, it's bad timing for them right now, but hopefully it will get done.
Justin asks the following question. I'd be very interested in videos just about frugal parenting. I feel like I have 4 walls under control, but spending money on my kids, like courses, activities, trips, new things they want to try, that's impossible to do on a budget. My 11-year-old wants to have an allowance. He's doing all his chores without even being asked, and I feel that he deserves it. How much would be reasonable?
Okay, well, let's deal with like some of the things kids want to do. I mean, I think a well-rounded education does come with some of those extracurricular activities. Yeah. And we always told our kids they had to pick one. Right. Pick one thing that you really, really want to do, because especially if you're paying for 4 kids, that did become kind of nearly impossible. And we always set the top budget. And there was always a little bit of parental involvement involved as well, which it always is, right? Because, you sign your kid up for a class and they're like, so the parents will be helping out, which is fine. I mean, you should be prepared for do that. And so one of the things that we would always caution is limit them as to how many they want to do at once. They can always try something else, and make sure that you know what your total involvement is going to be, not only with your money, but also with your time. Now, allowance.
We gave our kids allowance until they were at the age of 13. Now, we didn't give them a great amount of allowance, just a little bit of money for them to have some fun and enjoy, and maybe to buy a few extra things. I can't even remember how much money we gave them at this point. But at the age of 13, something very, I would almost call it magical, happened. If they got a job, let's say raking leaves or mowing lawns for a neighbor that they could do at the age of 13, and they earned some money, and now they had some money that they wanted to purchase something, if they wanted to purchase that item, we would go in half and half on it. So, I mean, they bought things like, one of my sons bought a camcorder, and we went in half, computers,
all kinds of stuff.
Apple Watches, MP3 players, all kinds of stuff. And within reason, as long as we could afford it, we would go in halves with them. So this is what we did. And it also taught them the meaning and value of money, because then they had to think about what they were going to buy, how much they were going to save up for it. And it wasn't just a matter of us handing them the money for that item.
Yeah, and Larry walked with them through product research, how to figure out what you need, what you don't need,
what's good.
Can you buy it used, how to find it on sale, how to find discounts. So it was like a mini course in money management.
Yeah.
And they learned a lot between the ages of 13 and 16 that I think was invaluable when they were in the workforce at the age of 16. Now, our son, who is 16, he cleaned up big time, guys. I'm not going to lie.
Gosh,
that kid, he earned more and bought more than any of his other three brothers combined.
He did.
But he worked his tail off.
Yeah.
And he was very systematic about choosing what he wanted to buy. He would tell us well in advance to make sure we had our half, because he was determined he was going to get his half saved, do his research. And he showed us that. He showed us the research and all that stuff. So I think it was a great exercise for them in really figuring out the worth of money. And yes, if you're wondering, it cost us more to do it that way than it did when we were paying them allowances. It was worth every penny of it, though.
It was. And I want to add this to this question, because they talk about it'd be very difficult to budget these things for their kids. We did budget everything. Everything that we spend money on has to come out of our budget, because after all, if we're spending the money, it's got to come from somewhere, and we have to be able to afford doing it. K. Michael S. I'll soon be getting my master's degree and will be able to work part-time and make the same amount of money that I was making when I was working full-time. What frugal things should I start doing now that I have an extra 20 hours on my hands? Well, the first thing that I think I would do if I were you, K. Michael, is I would look down the road and see if there's any amount of planning, extra planning that you can do towards your future, and kind of get that worked out. Anything you haven't had time to do, I'm sure there's a lot of things you haven't had time to do a thorough job of. Now you can take more time on that.
In relation to what to do with the extra 20 hours once you get your degree and you're only working 20 hours a week, we are huge proponents of passion projects. There are things that we would love to do that are not remotely related to what we do the rest of the week when it comes to YouTube and creating these videos. And because we do work 30 to 40 hours a week doing this and everything related to it. We really, really feel heavily invested in the idea of making sure that people who live in food deserts have the availability to have nutritious food. And there's an organization in our area,
Midwest Food Bank,
that Larry would love dearly
to
get involved with them in helping package, deliver food, things like that. And I would love, love, love to volunteer my hours to help a local community organization that is working specifically with people in food deserts and providing fresh produce for them on a weekly basis. They can come, they can purchase the produce. And I would want to be that lady where people said, I don't even know what this is or what to do with it or how to cook with it or how to store it. I would love to be that person, like have my own little, my area where they said, oh, go talk to her. She's going to tell you exactly what to do. And I would love nothing more than to do that. They do it on Sunday mornings though. And it's so hard for me to say, that I would give up going to church on Sunday mornings to help with a project like that. But I've seriously considered one Sunday morning a month saying, guys, I'm just not going to be here. I'm going to be ministering someplace else. Sorry.
Geraldine asks, I work long hours and find myself wasting an incredible amount of money on convenience foods. Do you have any tips for quick meals that are healthy and won't break the bank?
Geraldine, first of all, keep it simple. You don't need to cook a lot of food for every meal. I would keep it absolutely simple. And I would find out those items that you really enjoy cooking and you really enjoy eating. I would massively prep those and have those in meal-sized portions in the freezer. Make sure that you can pull it out and do it quickly. The other thing that I would suggest is coming up with a list of low-cost meals that you can build on throughout the week. For instance, we do beans and rice a lot.
Oh, yeah.
But we might take some of those leftover beans and make a soup out of it and throw some of the leftover rice in there as well in order to thicken it up. There are different ways that we can present beans and rice. You can grind up the rice, grind up the beans, make yourself bean burgers with it. So you're cooking all of the basic ingredients once, and you're recreating those ingredients in a bunch of different ways throughout the week, or you are recreating those ingredients in different recipes and you are somehow saving them for later in the week, be that putting them in the refrigerator or putting them in the freezer.
If you're looking for more information about frugality, our viewers are absolutely amazing. And last month on our coffee chat, we did one on viewer tips, and these viewer tips are outstanding. If you're interested in watching, we have a link for it right over there.